it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, My Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, so subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So, in today's episode, we're going to be discussing how to be more motivated and productive in your asexual life. So, have you ever found it really hard to get going on a project, or you sat there procrastinating? And you've been maybe working really hard, but you're running out of steam, or you just can't get started, you don't know how. So let me tell you what to do in this case scenario. Hi, I'm Sandra Bellamy. If you're new to this channel, I'm a best-selling asexual author, coach, and speaker. So I have books out on asexuality plus other topics, and these are my two best asexual books: Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, and Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual. So check those out on Amazon. So yes, what do you do if you are feeling demotivated and unproductive? What's going on? So I believe that you need to work in your own best interests, and what might work for one person does not necessarily work for another person. Some people find that by creating goals and putting those on like a list and then ticking each one off as they go is a really good way to be productive. And yes, that can be an amazing way to be productive. But how do you get started on those goals in the first place, and how do you create them? So, first of all, in order to be productive, we need to be working on things ideally that we are passionate about, that make us happy, that bring us joy and excitement into our lives, that we feel so good about. Because when we're working on things that we enjoy, that we feel good about, that brings us happiness and pleasure, we are less likely to think those are a chore, and we're more likely to want to do those things and be self-motivated to do them. So you can be motivated by a person, by a team, or you can be motivated on your own. Now, some people feel that they work best when they work with someone else, like an accountability buddy. What's that? An accountability buddy is when you have someone else who is also working on projects. It doesn't have to be the same project as you. When I say projects, this can be doesn't have to be a business thing. This can be a hobby that you're having as a project. So, for example, you want to complete a piece of artwork, you want to complete a game, right? And you want to do all the levels of that game. A project might be a book you're working on, or it might be a craft thing you're working on. It might be a piece of pottery you're working on. It might be a mathematical equation you're working on. A project has lots of different meanings, but basically it's something you're working on. In order to be self-motivated, you need to really make sure that project or projects you're working on are things that bring you excitement, joy, pleasure, and happiness, because you're far more likely to want to work on those things and take the action steps to do it. Because when something's joyous and pleasurable, it is not a chore, and so therefore you want to do it. It doesn't feel like hard work, or in theory it doesn't, and it should feel really, really good. There are caveats to that, right? But if you find it hard to be self-motivated, then an accountability buddy that I mentioned is someone that can hold you accountable for continuing that project and doing that project and seeing it through. Now, this could be a work colleague if it's something to do with work. If you're a freelancer at home, which I know a lot of people are since going through COVID, it can be hard to get motivated on your own. So if you have an accountability buddy, someone else who works in the same company as you, for example, that you could like do a video call with, or a voice call, or even text messaging to say how you're getting on during your week, and you can message each other with your different projects and say how well you're doing on it and what progress you've made. This can help you both motivate each other in order to get something done and completed, because this person says, oh yeah, I've done this today, and another person says, I've done that today. Progress is quite contagious usually. If someone's building momentum up, they're getting excited about what they're doing. It's kind of like you want a piece of the action for yourself. You don't necessarily want to do what they're specifically doing or do the project they're working on, but you want to generate that form of excitement and momentum for yourself in whatever you're doing. Because if you see someone else having fun and excitement, enjoying getting things done, it makes you more motivated to enjoy those things and get excited and get those things done. It's like a piston effect, like in a train. If you think of a train piston, for example, once the momentum gets going in the train, it goes round and round and round. It builds and builds and builds till it kind of goes on its own. So you want to be building people around you, like it could be friendships, it could be work colleagues, it could just be specifically an accountability buddy to work on a certain project. If you are doing an online course, for example, it's quite common that the course instructor would ask you to perhaps try and get an accountability buddy from someone else who is actually also in that online course, so that you can hold yourselves accountable for going through the course and finishing it. Some people work best with a whole team around them where they're just a part of a team, so that you don't feel overwhelmed that everything is on your shoulders, and that you're able to get help from a variety of people, not just one person, to help you with the thing that you need to do. Other people just find they can have a best friend or a close friend, for example, where you're just sharing your day. They don't even have to be an actual official accountability buddy. You can just say to your friend, hey, I did this, 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 and this today. And your friend might be able to share, hey, I did this, 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 and this today. Without even knowing it, you're both being like an accountability buddy for each other and helping each other progress in life and get on with things and get motivated, because it's kind of like you say back to each other what you're doing and we've done, and you can want to do more and more, so you've got more and more to tell them about your day. So it's not a boring day, for example. You did a lot, right? But there is a time and place, which may be more frequent than you think, to actually relax, chill out, and enjoy stuff, right? So you don't have to be working, working, working all the time. And sometimes taking time out is like work, in the sense that you are using your time to be productive and purposely, intentionally chilling out, de-stressing, and relaxing. So that's what I would say. If you are taking time out of doing stuff, working on projects, make it intentional. Set an intention that, hey, for X amount of time, I'm not doing anything but de-stressing. I am purposely taking myself out for a meal. I'm purposely taking myself out for a drink. I'm purposely doing something I haven't done before. So one of the things that I found is really helping my productivity over the weekend, for example, and even today, is the fact that I have taken more time out than usual. Not only have I gone on a self date on Sunday morning, I've been at the National Cinema Day on Saturday, watched 2 movies, and had a meal. So I've taken more time out for myself, which I don't usually do. And by doing that, it's actually made me more energized and productive, because it's made me think now, oh, I've got less time to do things, but I've got more energy and enthusiasm to do them because I've not been indoors all weekend. I've now got more momentum. So I had a lot of paperwork, accounts paperwork, that was filed in plastic wallets going back to last year, right? So it's not like I haven't kept any, but I haven't got my accounts filing in order. Why is that? Because it's one of the things I really procrastinate for, quite honestly. And mathematics is not my strongest point, and it's not the thing I find the most enthusiastic in my life. And I moved last year, which caused chaos in my life. And then this year, I have had a lot of illness. Now, you can say I'm making excuses, and that's fine if you believe that. And, you'd be fine in doing that diagnosis. But I know it's procrastination, which isn't good. And, when I have been very poorly this year over a lot of period of time, it's not my priority. And the fact I got loads of stuff in files that I need to put in a main filing system, it's just built up, and it gets to the point where it becomes overwhelming. Now, lots of people would think, well, why don't you just do a bit at a time each month? And the way my brain works with these type of things it doesn't usually work like that, right? But they would be right in saying that it's better to break it down into chunks and do it. And I start to do that and get intentional, and then it just goes. This is one of my worst areas of my business side of me, if you like. The fact that my admin in some areas is not as it should be. So I think it's good to be self-aware. It's good to admit things that you are not doing as well as you could do, so you know there's room for improvement and things you can do. And if you let things build up, obviously it's going to be more daunting to tackle something like that than it is if you're nearly up to date. Of course it is, right? I would say it's one of the worst, if not the worst, things I procrastinate on. I have had genuine health problems this year, and I do feel a degree of empathy for myself. So I think if you are going through hard times, if you're finding things really tough, highly, I'm like that in every area. Oh, bless you. That's nice of you to admit that. So, I think you have to, like, obviously be empathetic towards yourself, obviously be kind and caring towards yourself, and you have to, understand that life does not always go right, right? And so it is really difficult sometimes. So I think you have to not be tough on yourself, because sometimes if you're tough on yourself and punish yourself, then you're less productive, right? Who wants to be productive as someone who's punishing them? And if you're punishing yourself mentally and saying, oh, why didn't you do that? You should have done that. It's actually criticizing you, which puts yourself down. And then you go into a spiral of feeling shame and blaming yourself. And then you're unproductive. So this actually makes you more unproductive, having a go at yourself, being critical of yourself, and blaming yourself and having shame. So it's better to admit on a self-aware basis of things you can improve on in your life without beating yourself up over it. Because if you beat yourself up over it mentally and stuff like that, don't do it physically, obviously. Then if you are doing that, then you're actually stopping yourself being productive. So I think it's better actually to take time out. When I took time out for myself this weekend, I'm like, got a new lease of life. And I've also found that doing things that are different to what I would usually do in my routine actually spices my routine up for myself and makes my life more interesting, which makes me want to do more work. So I've been trying different things since I've been in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, because he is very much a believer and instigator of doing things differently in your life to get different results. So this doesn't just apply to your love life, it applies to all aspects of your life, right? Meeting new people, improving your life in general, being happy. And one of the things he talks about in relationships in general, as well as romantic relationships, is to do things that are different, to get you out of your comfort zone. And if you're in a relationship, for example, I'm not in a relationship, so this doesn't apply to a relationship for me in terms of romantic relationship, but I am in a friendship, right? So one of the things he recommends, and I do agree, even though it's tough if you're getting out of a comfort zone, is to do things different and go to different places than what you would usually do. This means purposely forcing yourself, if you like, to go and do something different. Go to a different bar, go to a different shop, go to a different cafe, go to a different restaurant. You still go to your favorites to keep a sense of like baseline security and safety and comfort, but you have to also get out of your comfort zone and go to different places. Now, this is something that I've actively been doing over the past few weeks, well, particularly last month and this month as well, right? And this is something that I'm doing more and more of, because I'm thinking, yeah, why shouldn't I do different things? And also, your mind gets very stuck. We get very stuck in our ways as human beings. We get used to doing a routine, used to doing the same things. And as Matthew would say, in like a romantic relationship, it can spice things up. Like if you've been with someone for like 5 years and you're doing the same thing over and over again, it can get boring, or it can get, the relationship can stagnate and it can feel old, and like people can get too used to each other and get complacent. Whereas if you mix things up a bit and go and eat in different places together, go and do different activities together, it can help you. So I have recently been, like I said, going to different places. I went to bar at 12 bar yesterday. You might have seen the shorts videos on that. That's a new bar in my city. I'd say it's like a tea room slash cafe, but they've put bar on it because it has music as well and alcohol and stuff like that. So it's only been yesterday. It had been going a month and 1 day, and it's kind of like an indie type of place. It's not the place I would usually go to. So I'm like, right, okay, this looks like a new place. But I was nervous to go in there a bit because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what the people are like in there. It's a new place. It's a new space. I don't know where I'm going to sit. And all these questions start coming into my head. I don't even know if I can drink there because of all my allergies and intolerances. I don't know if there's any snacks I can eat. But I have to go in there and just overcome all that fear and go and do it, right? You have to feel the fear and do it anyway. But I was able to have a herbal tea there. I wasn't able to have any snacks there. And I was able to enjoy the decor, do a few shorts, chill out with the music. It's got vinyl records there. They're like a very retro indie bar, right? That's combining old records with kind of a modern twist to the thing. That, I mean, it's innovative. And as a entrepreneur myself, I like innovation. I believe entrepreneurship is not about money, or not just about money. I believe it's a mindset entrepreneurship. It's about being different, getting out of your comfort zone and taking risks and doing things that other people are not prepared to do, or won't try, And so I think that's a good mindset to have. That you don't have to be an entrepreneur to have that mindset. It's one way of stopping procrastination and helping your productivity levels to soar when you're going out and doing different things and getting out of your comfort zone. Because when we do something different, I've even noticed this when I've been doing more things differently lately, and I've been spending more time with myself, enjoying myself on purpose, it actually makes me come back and work faster and harder and quicker, because I'm like, oh, I've only got X amount of time now. But when I come back, I'm refreshed. Like yesterday, my accounts paperwork that I have left for months in plastic wallets, right? I went through all of it, apart from there was a tiny little bit I couldn't finish because I was so tired and had to stream last night. And then I fell asleep straight after my stream. I hadn't even cleaned my teeth. I woke up at 5 a.m. and cleaned my teeth. And I'm like, oh my God, I just fell asleep on the bed. I chucked a throw over me and that was it. I was gone like the wind. So I was really tired because I went to the movie. It's a hardcore kids movie I watched yesterday, which I wouldn't really view as appropriate for kids. It had death and grief in it and murder in it. I'm like, what is going on? That's not what I watch a kids movie for. So I'm like, I really need to take time out and chill out. I really need to go to a cafe or someplace so I can, spend some time with myself and have some nice atmosphere and have some nice things going on in my mind. Not that, which I wasn't expecting. It was an independent film by the Wales Commission or something. It's like, I think it's a British made film as far as I know, but it was a hardcore film. Anyway, so that's when I decided to go to 12 bar, and I did have to ask about snacks in there, but at least I could have a herbal tea. And so yeah, it was really nice atmosphere in there. It was good to chill out. I felt revived and refreshed by going in there and having a rubus. I don't know if you pronounce it rubus or ribus tea. And that's meant to be good for the digestive system. I looked it up on the internet as well. So as I've had digestive problems, it's good. Although I'm repairing my gut now, which is working, but just taking quite a long time to fully get repaired. So yeah, I just felt it's good. And so yeah, when I came back after that, I was watching a YouTube video which was partly to do with some research. Like I sometimes watch videos and even movies, and they give me ideas for my own book of things I need to include. They give me inspiration. So I think one of the ways you can be more productive and self-motivated is by watching things that you find inspirational, that gives you creative ideas. That doesn't mean to say you go around copying other people. It means to say that you go and allow that to have enabled creative inspiration within you. Does that make sense? Did I word that correctly? It sounded a bit disjointed, my language there. So I think it's okay if you use films and that to give you creative inspiration, is what I'm trying to say, or documentaries, or interviews with people and stuff like that. It's all about personal development and learning to grow yourself which then when you feel like you're growing yourself, you feel like you're making progress. When you feel like you're making progress, it's motivational. And then when you're motivated, you can do more work and do more stuff, and then you become more productive. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy like that, if you understand what I mean. So make sure that you're giving yourself some stimuli in terms of inspiring creative ideas. Sometimes it's just good to not even do much. And then all of a sudden, creative ideas can come to you. You can write them down in a journal or a diary or even on a piece of paper. For those of you who are logical, who are not so into analytical stuff, you might just want to work on, if you can code, you might want to work on a piece of code. If you like using spreadsheets, you might want to do budgeting and stuff like that with spreadsheets. Lee, this is true. Thank you, Lee. So there's a number of things you can do. So I find by going to different places and doing different things, it's actually making me feel better. And like I said, I did so many hours of accounts filing last night. I actually found it very therapeutic just filing, because sometimes with my writing work, it can get very intense, right? Because I specialize in asexuality and writing the asexuality book, it's good, but it's hard because I'm having to make sure I get everything right and explain it in a way that other people will understand. I know people in general who are not new to asexuality know of asexuality. They think they know about asexuality, but this asexuality book dives in deeper to what the average person would think about with asexuality. You know, I've like found 5 definitions of asexuality. They're all slightly different definitions, you know, and this is how it can get confusing about who's asexual and who isn't, right? And I really want to address these things in this asexuality book so people can truly asexuality. They can understand it on deep level without being completely overwhelmed. So it's taking me time. It's very intense because I go into detail, but I have to make sure that it makes sense to who's reading that, because it makes sense to me. But when you go into more and more detail about a topic that most people do generalizations about, it can be harder because I'm writing for you guys and girls and any gender. When I say you guys, it's not specifically guy, I'm talking about you people, my audience, my beautiful audience. You know, I'm writing for you and I need to be able to explain it. And you know, I'm a specialist on a topic, which I am on asexuality. Obviously, I've been on this channel helping asexuals, since 2015. That's a long time. We're now in 2024. You know, it makes it, I guess it puts a little bit more pressure on me to make sure I do a good job, right? Because it's like you're a specialist, Sandra. It's not like you don't know much about asexuality. And so there is more of a pressure I find on myself. Maybe I'm probably putting that pressure on myself, but you know what I mean? And I have to try not to be a perfectionist. Not every person's going to like all the books I write. Not everything's going to be worded correctly for every person. Not everyone's going to agree with me. Not everyone's going to see exactly what I see. So you have to bear that in mind when you're doing anything in life, that perfection just doesn't exist. Because some people, they procrastinate in life because they try to be perfect, and there is no such thing as perfect, because everyone in the world would have a different definition of what perfect is anyway, right? So you can't live up to every single person in the world's definition of perfectionism and what perfect looks like, because they'll all have different definitions. So you might please 1 or 2 or more people who think it's perfect, and others you won't. And if you're trying to strive for perfection too much, you could end up cutting off your audience who can't even understand you anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because you're trying to be too perfect, right? That's why I don't do a lot of video editing or any video editing throughout the whole of my channel, because I want to show asexuality in real, raw, live context. I could, spend hours editing videos and doing the perfect thumbnail and the perfect video. But most people anyway who follow my channel, they don't expect to have a polished thumbnail like the other channels. They expect to see me on my channel doing real life stuff with my hands and that, because when I have tried to do like more stereotypical thumbnails on YouTube, a lot of the time they don't get watched anymore, or sometimes even less, because people are like, what's going on? Sandra doesn't usually post stuff like that. Of course, some of those videos are more watched, like they've been around for years. So I still think there's a place to do that. And I know most other channels do that, but I like to put out a lot of content because I'm thinking that content is the best thing, So one of the things that I say as well to beat procrastination is to just do the thing and don't worry about perfectionism. Don't worry about being the right at everything. If I worried about being perfect on this channel and worried about all the thumbnails and all the content not being edited, then I wouldn't upload as much as I do. I wouldn't, right? I wouldn't be in touch with you as an audience as much as I do. I wouldn't be live streaming all the time. Like, I live stream and ad lib usually nearly all the time. Very rarely do I write anything out before I stream or even have notes on a stream. Because I believe in talking from the heart and I believe in sharing my own asexual life journey to help you in yours. And also, if you think about getting a thumbnail right and all the video editing you've got to do to chop the front off, to chop the back, to make choppy bits in between and all the rest of it, and then it can just stop you from actually putting content out there. Right? Some people do want to create YouTube channels, but they're scared. They're like scared about what their voice sounds like. They're scared about what they look like on camera. They're scared about putting something out that doesn't look professional. They're scared about, like, making any mistakes. They're scared about not having a video and not having time to edit it. But if you just, like, be yourself on camera and don't care what people think and just hope your audience enjoys it, and if your audience and people start watching you and following you and talking to you on there, then you're doing good, aren't you, in the world? It's much better that I put loads and loads of videos out that I think is beneficial for people than it is to just worry, like I did before, about having, like, videos that are polished and edited. Like, years ago, I just used to do one video every week or every other week or only a couple of videos a month. That's what I used to do when I first started this channel, and they are much more shorter, and you could say they might be a little bit more polished, not much. But you know what I mean? I just don't see the point in doing that when I can release a lot more content and talk to asexuals on their level, like I'm talking to you every day, you know what I mean? And so if you're scared to start a social media and you're scared to go on camera and do your own channel or do your own thing in life, then I just say go for it and don't care about what people think, because you'll be helping some people. If I didn't do this channel, I worry so much about video editing and perfect thumbnails and looking like every other channel looks, the majority of them, then I would never get content out. I just wouldn't do it. And I'd hardly ever get much out, and I'm not helping anyone, am I? Do you know what I mean? So it's better to help some people, even though it might be in your raw, real form, than it is to have perfectly polished things that some people could still not like anyway. Right? People resonate with people that are real, that are authentic, especially with the advent of AI now being more and more popular. You know, it's more popular in terms of more and more people are using it. But you know what I mean? If it replaces human beings, then we're going to need more human beings to be real and authentic. So, I think it's just better to put yourself out there and to be you. And that can stop procrastination. Just don't care what people think. Do something for you. When I started blogging, right, I started my quirkybooks.wordpress.com blog in 2010. We're now in 2024, so I've had that blog for 14 years this November. I know I'm too young for that, but I started that before I started helping asexuals, right? Like 5 years before. 4 years before I even knew I was asexual. And, well, it was November 2010, and I started this channel October 2015. So just under 5 years, if you want to be technical about the days and dates. Right? But I started that and I decided to start that blog for myself to find my writer's voice. Because I was scared at that point. I was scared to write. I was scared to put myself out there. So I just wrote for me. I thought, stuff it. I'll just write for me. And if anyone comes along and happens to read my blog, great. You know? But I just started that blog years ago for me. I thought, find your writer's voice, and if you start something for you without the intention that everyone else is going to follow you or agree with you or like you, and you do it to improve yourself, you'll feel better and it'll stop you procrastinating. Lee, a real raw human presentation is like a breath of fresh air compared with all the AI generated content. Exactly. You've put it very succinctly, Lee. I totally agree that a real raw human presentation is like a breath of fresh air. I believe that in the future, with more and more people using AI, that people will want human experiences more than ever before. There'll be a market for people who want real, live people interaction. There's going to be people who love AI. I do use AI as a tool in some ways, although not as much compared to other people. So I have used AI and I can use AI, and I do have a audio transcription service I bought. You know, so it can help me actually transcribe my videos from this channel into books. Because I think there's so much value in my videos, so I should be putting more of the content from here into books and publish them for people's enjoyment. But this is my own words. This is not copying other people's, right? I attended a workshop an online thing recently, and that showed people making books with AI, and it was just lies. I don't know how they can pass it off as non-fiction when the book starts saying, oh, for example, beekeeping. Oh, I've loved beekeeping ever since I can remember. I'm like, well, you're picking a topic that you know nothing about. You're getting AI to create the book, and it's simply not true. It's a lie. So I don't know how that can class as non-fiction. Lee says, I agree, it will be a premium. I think it will be a premium as well, where you know, a live, raw, real person, you know, if you do probably pay premium money to have that experience, but it will be like a premium thing. It will be classed as wow. You know, I also believe there'll be more and more boutique shops in the future, you know, with the internet, because it's, you know, boutiques as in giving a personalized experience, because more and more people are going to want that in the future, because they'll end up getting bored. When everything's presented to you on a silver platter, you get bored with that after a while. Do you know what I mean? So it's better to have raw, real live experiences. Also, AI slips too many errors in. Yeah. I mean, I have used it a bit to transcribe some of my videos from here. And it gets some of the words wrong, so I have to edit that. But having said that, I do talk very quickly on this channel, so it's not really surprising that AI doesn't always understand what it's saying. And sometimes I think I do get my words a bit confused, which I sometimes draw people's attention to, like, I'm just made up a word there, or I went over my words. Did I make sense? Let me say that again. So I don't think it's all AI's fault, but yeah. But I don't believe in taking someone else's work and using AI. I believe AI is fine as an assistant, but I believe that creating stuff using AI, which is also, like you say, AI slips too many errors in. Like I looked at AI definition of asexuality, right? It came up with two things in different pages that were wrong on one of them. One said about asexuality being a lack of sexual attraction and or little to no interest in sexual activities, I think. Oh, it came up with a Wikipedia definition. Little Wikipedia's changed its definition slightly lately. So it's got asexuality as a lack of sexual attraction or little to no interest or desire for sexual activity or something like that. But anyway, I've written about this in the book. But AI, I've checked on Wikipedia, by the way. I didn't just take AI's word for it. And AI, though, one of the times it came back with asexuality is a medical condition, and I'm like, oh my god, AI should be shot for that. I don't believe in violence, but I'm like, it's completely and utterly wrong. That's exactly what asexuality is, isn't it? It's not a medical disorder. Oh yes, I think Wikipedia talks about primary sexual attraction. Well, Wikipedia has changed its definition of asexuality slightly since I wrote Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book. Very slight difference in wording. But as I'm explaining in my Asexuality book, the slight difference makes all the difference. There's about 5 variations of asexuality definition. They're all worded slightly different, but that changes the meaning of who's included in it. and what it actually is. But because I dive deep into this, other people probably wouldn't notice the difference, but I do notice it. So, yeah. So I'm talking about this in the Asexuality book because I think it's important to know, because there's a lot of confusion about what asexuality is and isn't, and that's not surprising considering the variations in asexual definitions, asexuality definitions. It's bound to leave confusion. So I'm trying to help people understand why there is so much confusion, and how grey asexuals form part of the asexual spectrum as well, and can call themselves asexual because some people don't believe they should, but they are part of the asexuality spectrum. So, but they are different. Grey asexuals are different to just asexuals. So anyway, I'm diving into more and more of this in the book. So, I think that by doing more things that are outside of my home, and by taking myself out more and going to different places, I'm actually adding variety. I'm purposely making myself chilled out, and I'm putting my health first. By actually putting my health first and doing different things, it's actually helping me to be more productive. So yesterday I watched a movie at the cinema, then I had the drink at the bar, then I came home and watched a video which I wanted to watch on YouTube that helped me with some research. So for my asexuality book, I know I've done like a what I'm included, but there's something that I want to put in there that another video I watched might be relevant to help me to phrase what I'm trying to say in the best way. Lee, we've come a long way since Freud said that the only abnormal sex is no sex. Oh my God, did they? I don't even know about that. Yes, I don't even know about that. Maybe, yeah, I don't tend to go into science in my books. I don't tend to go into religion or politics in any of my books. I make that clear in the beginning of the book. If you're looking for a scientific book about asexuality, this isn't it. So because I don't believe you should have to prove you're asexual, it's why should we prove we're asexual when other people don't have to prove their sexuality? It just seems ludicrous to me in lots of ways. That doesn't mean to say I don't use resources to back up some things I'm saying, but the majority of the time I talk from personal experience and knowledge and skills if you like. Don't know if skills is the right word to use. Personal knowledge and experience rather than any scientific stuff, because there are people I'm sure are very good at writing scientific stuff. I don't personally get involved in a lot of that, and I think some people will wish I talk more scientifically about asexuality on this channel, but there are people that specialize in that, and so I have no need to do that one. That's not my speciality. My speciality is talking from lived experience and being in an asexual community for years, and running 6 asexual groups myself, and being in multiple other asexual groups. And I used to hold asexual meetups as well, so which I haven't done in person for a while because I'm doing lots of other stuff now. So my life is quite full. But yeah, so to stop procrastination, sometimes to make you more productive, it's good to actually go away from the thing you're meant to be working on and go and do something else so that you can come back feeling refreshed, renewed, and revived. Hello, Jonathan. Nice to see you. Lee, certainly communicating is a skill. Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, communication is a skill. So yeah. So it's a good idea to go off and do something different, do something out of your comfort zone to help you come with refreshed, renewed eyes and more energy. So yesterday I was saying, I think I've said this a few times now, but yesterday I watched a movie. Then I went to the new bar, 12 bar, that I've never been to before. So did something different out of my comfort zone to help me relax and chill out. And then I watched the rest of YouTube video I was watching for some research to help me explain. It's actually not, it's not talking about asexuality at all, by the way. But the thing that the video was about it was to do with dating, actually, and relationships. I can use what that person was saying, use a dating specialist, but use it in terms of what I'm writing. I don't know how to phrase it without giving it away, but I haven't done anything. I've just written some notes down from that because it's very vital for me to explain what I need to explain. So anyway, that's like research. And then but it's actually got nothing directly to do with asexuality whatsoever. I have to say that. And then I did then I did all this account stuff, and then I fell asleep after my stream. Now today, when I've got up, I've worked on my Asexuality book. I finished the paperwork off that I needed to do for the accounts. I've actually applied to be a speaker in my city for something. I don't know if I should tell you what I've applied to. I don't know if I'll get it or not. But that took me ages. It took me ages to do that. So I don't know if I should just wait until see if I got it, but it was a speaker in my city for something I've for an organization that I've never actually spoke for before. So I applied for that. That took me quite a long time to do that. It was so today I did the Asexuality book. Then I applied to be a speaker. Then I finished off my paperwork from yesterday, the admin paperwork, although I've still got some personal filing to do. I made myself food twice, as you've seen on my shorts video. And then I did a bit of work on Diary Confessions book 2, which I've nearly finished. I've got a lot of asexual books I need to actually finish this year. My goal for this year is to finish and publish 5 asexual books by the end of this year. I've never had such a big goal. This is my big audacious goal. So far, I've done 1, which is my Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual 78 Life Lessons to Age Your Life. This was a #1 hot new release when it first came out over sexual books. So I was so happy and thrilled about that. And it was an international bestseller. So yes, so I've still got Asexuality book to finish writing and publish. I've got 78 Life Lessons to Age Your Life Diary Confessions workbook that I was working on before that. I've got 2 more chapters to do to finish and do the editing for that. Then I've got Asexual Guide to Sex, which I've been working on for 5 years that I need to finish. And I got Diary Confessions book 2 that I need to finish. That's like 4 other books I need to get finished by the end of this year, published before the end of this year. Oh my lord, I need to do some of them very soon. So yeah, this is going to be a big writing month for me. Oh, Lee says you want me to tell you anyway what I've applied for. Okay, I'll tell you anyway what I've applied for. I've applied. I don't know if I'll get it, so I don't want to jinx it, but I'll tell you anyway. So if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But it took me ages to apply. It says, I think it said like it's just 7 minutes to fill in this form. And it was about like an hour and 45 minutes later, I think, by the time I actually finished it. I don't know. I didn't actually time myself, but it felt like it was a long time. And I know it was way over 7 minutes. Because it took me ages just to write the thing. Because I had to write the talk topic, the outline of my talk. So I applied to Tech Exeter. So I've spoke before on this channel to say it's a Tech Exeter. I nearly said TED because I've applied for TEDx in the past. But unfortunately, the organizer I applied to for TEDx, who was meant to be taking me through to the next round of interviews at the beginning of this year, they moved jobs and they said they'd get back to me and they never did. Now, I think, as far as I can tell, they've got all the speakers. But I believe everything happens for a reason. So if I haven't, well, clearly I haven't got that. So anyway, that was quite a long way away from my home anyway. But this is an event, an annual conference called Tech Exeter Conference. So yeah, and it's run by Tech Exeter. So I go to their events, like I go to their social events and their business events. And so I've applied to be a speaker at that, talking about how to build a personal brand using tech and social media. How to use tech and social media to build a personal brand is actually the title of my talk, because obviously I built a personal brand on this channel. You know, this channel's had over 912,000 views, which is huge. I would never, ever, ever have thought I could get that in a million years. And I do use technology to post my videos, for example, on my other social media platforms. It's an automated tool that takes the RSS feed and puts it into my pages. That's the software I use, so I know how to do that, and then I can talk both about asexuality and tech. That's the idea behind it, right? So obviously, because I'm talking about asexual as well, I don't know if it's going to be too controversial for people, but obviously I have built a personal brand on this channel, and my topic is asexuality. So I don't know if I'll get accepted or not, but I get on well with the organizer, and my talk is very structured as to what I'm going to go through, and it's very valuable for people, and tech is the future, so as well as present. So if I got the talk, it would open up a lot of opportunities for me and doors, I think, as well, because there's a lot of people that's going to see that. I think you have to buy tickets to it, from what I can tell. But it just looks amazing, and it would be a great opportunity. Of course, I have anxiety conditions, so that doesn't really help, but it's it's two topics I love, technology and asexuality. So I combine them two in a talk. That's my idea, because it's a way of getting asexuality to a more global audience as well. People that have never heard of asexuality, but in a way that's accessible to them. I'm always looking for innovative ways to talk about asexuality. And that's one of the good things, if you want to be self-motivated and not procrastinate, is to allow yourself to have creative, innovative ideas. Because if you allow yourself to have innovative ideas are out the box for the things you do in your life, then it allows more scope. It allows you to expand yourself and grow, so you don't stagnate and die inside. When we just do the same thing all the time, you kind of like get into this kind of like zombie state, and we don't want to be in a zombie state. We don't want to be in a trance. We want to open up our lives, and we want to experience different things in our lives, and as I have an anxiety condition, yes, I am anxious about it, but because it's a topic I'm passionate about, and because I think I can do it and do a good job, and because it's in my city as well, and because I get on well with the people at Tech Exeter, I think it's worth going for, and I feel like it's something I should do. I feel like it's something I should excel at, actually. But again, I don't want to put pressure on myself, because if you put too much pressure on yourself, then that can make you procrastinate and not do even not even progress at all. So if you want to be more productive, you need to not be so hard on yourself, not be so critical of yourself, not punish yourself, not tell yourself off, but give yourself praise for the things you do achieve, however big or small. Take yourself out more. Know that you're worth it. Treat yourself with tender, loving care. Be empathetic towards yourself. Treat yourself like a best friend. And, motivate yourself by saying, hey, my gosh, you finished that bit. This is really good. On to the next bit now. But make sure you say what a good job you've done. Make sure you go out and celebrate your small wins and successes as well as your big ones. Make sure that you are instilling good, positive vibes within yourself, right? And be a best friend to yourself and be your own cheerleader. Like I said, go and do different stuff, because doing different stuff can make you refreshed, revived, and invigorated. I've also done part of an online training course. There was a replay because I missed the live event at the time, so I've been watching some of that on a replay, which is to do with the book publishing challenge I did recently. I paid to keep the course content, and there was a replay of a training they had online that I missed, so I've been watching some of that as well. So I've got so much done today. I got loads of stuff done today, right? And it's all because I feel revived, invigorated, and alive, because I've been doing different stuff. I've had a nice break over the weekend. I didn't have a complete break, but I had a majority of my time off, and I feel revived and invigorated. So make sure you do things different to your normal routine, to spice up your life, to stop you procrastinating, to stop you being in just this kind of zombie state. And in order to be more productive, it's a good idea to do time blocking as well. So make sure you set X amount of time and you just do one thing at that time and focus on the one thing. Also, something that's really good is to listen to some background music. So when I did the book publishing challenge, there's an actual channel called Lofty Girl, Lofigirl. Lofty Girl. I'm on there at the moment on YouTube, and this is background music. So I just play a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that, but basically it's background music, instrumental music. And it's really nice for playing the background because it doesn't have words. It means it's not going to distract me from writing words in my book. So if you can have background music and sounds and noise that help you chill out and relax you, this can help you be more productive. Get rid of distractions. So make sure you switch your phone off, or you have it on silent and you put it away somewhere. I make sure in order to be productive that I have my phone somewhere else. Like my phone is downstairs at the moment, so that I can't go on it when I'm upstairs working. Right? It's purposely like down there. Sometimes I switch it off for hours, so I'm not actually directly on social media for X amount of time while I take the time out to do the thing that I need to get done. That's the top priority. Obviously, you should be prioritizing things in terms of what's the most important and urgent, to do that first. But you can have a break and do something different. I find by doing different things, like I've done some book writing today, then I went off and did some admin work, then I'm watching a training video, then I'm doing some more book work again. And by mixing up what you're doing, it can keep that day in life more interesting. So mix up what you're doing, allocate X amount of time to a certain thing you need to do, then go and do something else different, because that can give you a different vibe, a different feeling. Then go and do something else. I find that if I've done some intense work, I just need to chill out and do something more that I don't need to do, or do something else that I don't need to think about. That might be just watching a training video. It might be watching a fun YouTube video that's got nothing to do with work. It might be listening to a song that helps me relax. But if I've done quite a lot of intense work, that I need to de-stress myself so that I can get ready for the next lot of work and be refreshed with it. So go and do something different. Like filing the paperwork was actually quite therapeutic because it doesn't take much to think about that, right? So sometimes you need to combine really heavy focused tasks and something that needs great concentration with breaks of doing things that are nothing to do with what you're currently doing, that help you to chill out, relax, or to just not think much. Do tasks that you have to think a lot about, and then tasks that you don't have to think much about. Combine the two. You can use a planner if you find that helpful. Sometimes I find a planner really helpful, and at other times I find it overwhelming. If I list out everything I've got to do, I find it overwhelming. So sometimes I just find it's better to get on in my head and know what I've got to do, and just go and get it done. Because if I think about it too much, then it can cause procrastination. If I look at it on a to-do list or a planner, then it can cause too much procrastination, because I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to get all this done? A procrastination productivity tip I heard years ago, which is ways to be more productive and less procrastination, is to make sure you focus on just 3 tasks a day that you need to get done. But I also watched another video that said just focus on the one thing. Like, what is the one most important thing you need to get done today? So I would say each day make sure you do 1 to 3 things, ideally, but if you want to mix it up a bit and do a multitude of things, then break them up into smaller chunks. So you work on, for example, if you write, then write X amount of pages or X amount of chapters. If you are working on a painting, then do X amount of part of the painting. If you are doing a blog post, then do X amount of that blog post, so that you're not doing the whole thing if you can't. And one of the ways to stop procrastination is to just literally tell yourself, I want to write like a first 3 lines of something, like, or first few words. So instead of focusing on the fact, oh, I've got to write like 50 pages or whatever, all you do is need to get started and say, okay, I'm just going to write a few words here. That's it. And automatically your brain will usually want to write more and more. But it can take up to 15 minutes to actually get in the zone, for example, of writing. You can take 15 minutes before you fully get into flow. And that just doesn't apply to writing. It can apply to a lot of things in life. So you have to give yourself time to be able to get into something. If you find yourself getting bored and distracted, then go off and do something else. Have a break, because clearly you need a break if you're getting distracted. If you're getting to a point where, oh, I'm just getting distracted, I need to go off, sometimes you are getting bored and your brain just can't take anymore. So you need to go and do something else. And also, it's okay to watch a movie. I have been allowing myself to watch more movies on Disney Plus recently, because by having more time off and allowing my mind to relax and de-stress, I'm actually able to get more stuff done because I'm not stressed about doing the work I need to do. I'm chilled out. Because if I know that I can watch 1 or 2 movies a day and I can still get loads of work done, then it's like, hell yeah, why not? If I get more work done by watching movies, but less work done when I don't watch the movies because I'm thinking I just need to chat, relax, and de-stress, and I'm not doing that, then go for the movies, isn't it? You've got to be your own best friend to yourself. And if people think, oh, you shouldn't be taking time off doing that because you need to get this, that, and the other done, but if what you need to do de-stresses you, then do it. Because I have got a thyroid issue that's shown up on my blood test, I need to get myself better from that. One of the things that stops the thyroid working properly is cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So the more stressed I become, the more I'll exhibit symptoms and have symptoms of hypothyroidism. And I found out, cortisol blocks the thyroid hormone from working. And obviously, it causes a lot of other issues. So by de-stressing and making sure I'm looking after my health and making sure I'm doing things that relax me and feel good, I'm actually making my body in a better state to be able to have more energy to be more productive, because my thyroid is able to function better. And thyroid is linked to metabolism and it can make you really tired. So it's important that we look after our physical health and our mental health in order to be more productive and to be motivated. Like, how do I be self-motivated, for example? Some people don't know how to be self-motivated. Self-motivation comes from an intrinsic desire to do good in the world, to accomplish things, and to strive for a sense of responsibility and achievement. So whatever your drivers are for being motivated in your life is what you should do. So I am driven first and foremost by a sense of responsibility. That's what makes me motivated. And second to that is a sense of achievement. I did a work quiz years ago, and it's like, what motivates you? Because loads of people think they're motivated by money, but it's not actually true a lot of the time, or it's not true for everyone. My third was money. First was responsibility. Second was a sense of achievement. Third is money. So unless I feel like I'm being responsible in the work I'm doing, unless I feel I'm achieving something, it doesn't matter if I have all the money in the world thrown at me. If I don't enjoy what I'm doing and don't feel like I'm responsible in achieving something in my life, I won't be happy. So money isn't the first thing that's going to make me happy in my life, right? It just isn't, because that's not what motivates me. So you need to find out what motivates you in life in order to be self-motivated. If I write, which I have done, write best-selling books, do you know how awesome this feels when I've accomplished having best-selling books and written work to help asexuals and others? There's nothing better than that, apart from helping asexuals, obviously, on my channel here. I love helping asexuals because I do fulfill that need for responsibility. I feel I have a duty of care to asexuals to put videos out for you to help you in your asexual life. I don't actually have to do it, but I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. I feel responsible in that way, because I understand asexual on an innate level because I was born asexual but didn't realize it. And I understand it on a deep level because I am asexual. Does that make sense? I'm asexual, was born asexual but didn't realize it. So a lot of stuff to do asexuality comes very naturally to me. And so I feel I have a duty of care as well to show you on this channel how you can live a really great asexual life. Because asexuality can be a challenge in life, but you can still have a great life. Some people are like, oh, your life must be so boring because you're asexual. It's like, I don't have time to be bored. You might look at a lot of my shorts videos, right? You'll notice that I'm always going to places and eating out and watching movies and doing lots of fun things like that. Not everything's fun. I show you the difficult things as well in my life. But I feel like I have a duty of care to actually explain how I overcome the difficulties in my life so that you can do the same, right? That gives me a great sense of achievement when I have comments in chat, when I have people watching my videos and commenting and enjoying them or getting something out of them. Do you know what I mean? So you have to find out what motivates you. You have to self-analyze, like, what motivates me? What do I feel good about getting up out of bed in the morning for? Like, if I had to do something and it doesn't matter where I get paid for it or not, it doesn't matter whether other people are involved or not, I'll still want to do it. For me, it's writing. Like, I write books even for myself, even though they're for other people, I still write books for myself because I love writing, you know what I mean? Writing's in my soul. Like, if I don't write, my soul dies. I get very, very sick actually if I don't do writing. So it's very important to me that I do writing. So I do that whether I got paid to write books or not. And I help asexuals. I don't really currently I don't make much money out of writing books. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's not what motivates me to do it. So I am a publisher. I've got my own book publishing imprint, but I am a writer first and foremost. So my priority is to write books from my own life experience in order to help you in your life. And they're non-fiction usually. So, you've got to think, where does your motivation to do things you do in life come from? So if you're a gamer, for example, lots of asexuals are gamers, like, what motivates you to play a game? Is it the adrenaline you get from that game? Is it the fact that there's skill involved in getting up the different levels of that game? Is it the fact you like to find out things that other people can't find out, like glitches in it, for example? Or bonuses or hard to reach things? You find it challenging, you're like solving problems and you're solving challenges, that makes you feel accomplished. Like, when you analyze the things you do that give you pleasure and enjoyment and fulfillment, and you can see the reasons behind why you do the things you do, then you can use those reasons to do other things to help motivate you to do those things by switching your mind around. So when I was in a day job, which sometimes I got really bored of it, I used to just switch my mind around to the fact that I was learning skills. If it was a bit quiet, I was learning to be patient. Like, in one of my jobs, I was a bit naughty because I used to, when the customers weren't there, I used to write. I used to write my book, one of my books years ago. If you can find a day job where you can combine your hobby in secret with actually doing the job, then it's all the better, isn't it? You know what I mean? So that gave me motivation, like, oh, I can get paid, and in between customers, when I'm not doing anything, I can actually do something in secret and do some writing, Took a notepad and started writing, in secret. As secret as much as possible. I used to hide it in one of the magazines. One of the brochures, should I say. So, you know what I mean? You've got to find out what motivates you and why. What do you enjoy? What do you love? And then analyze, why do you love, like, what emotions does that instill in you? What feelings does that give you? And then you can adapt what you do to get those feelings from those other things that are harder to do, that you procrastinate on, so you're able to achieve more. Does that make sense? So, if you like, I hate washing up, right? I can't stand it. It actually physically hurts me. But one of the things that gets me motivated to do it when I have to do it is by putting the music on and listening through the headphones, because it gives me time to chill out listening to lots of music. When I was doing the accounts paperwork yesterday, I was filing. I was having my headphones on, listening to music for hours, high octane, energetic music, which also helps me to not procrastinate, helps me to feel energized to get more work done and be more productive. So you can use music or sound to enable you to be more productive, because if it's high octane energy sound, you actually get energy from that energy of vibration of the music, if you like, and then that can put you into a higher state of energy to be able to get the things done that you need to get done, right? So music personally gives me energy. If I'm lacking in energy, I'm thinking, okay, what do I do to get more energy? What are the things I usually do that make me feel more energized? And I listen to certain high octane energetic music and it makes me more energized. So I listened to that a lot yesterday, which helped me to be more productive. I mentioned earlier that I've started listening to music that is on a YouTube channel that hasn't got lyrics to it, but it's got like a melody, and that helps me to focus more on my writing now, so I can get more writing done. But that music is not high octane energy, so it's more like chilling out music. So it's good to be relaxed, but obviously you can get to a stage where you feel tired because you're too relaxed. So in order to snap yourself out of that state, you listen to high octane energetic music. In order to change your state, you need to change what you're doing through movement and music. So if you feel bored, you're procrastinating, because obviously you procrastinate a lot because you're going to find something bored or hard, difficult, tiring, exhausting, lots of negative things surrounding things you procrastinate on. You need to find things that make it more enjoyable, that cause you less procrastination. But you also need to take breaks regularly because you need to recharge. And you also need to use movement and music as a way of energizing yourself. Because when we change our state, we change our physiology, we change our mindset, we change our emotional state, which allows us to get more stuff done. I'm self-motivated because I can praise myself when I've done something right. I'm self-motivated because I like it when I achieve a lot because I feel good. I'm self-motivated because I don't need someone else telling me what to do. In fact, I don't like people telling me what to do. Unless it's a training course, I don't understand what I'm doing, so I like to be told what to do in that until I understand what I need to do myself, then can do it myself. Right? So you need to find out what works for you, what's helpful for you. Time blocking is when I mentioned that earlier, is when you block out a specific amount of time to do that thing. You focus on nothing but the thing at hand. That's a really good way of doing it. Make sure you put your phone away, you put your iPad away, you've got the TV off, so you're not distracted by other things and you're focusing on the thing that you need to get done. Break your day up into different chunks of doing different things can add more variety. Giving yourself a break can add more variety. Doing things out of your routine can help move your day along better because you are allowing yourself to change your state. So you feel more energized, refreshed, and revived. So it's really important to do all these things for productivity and to be more motivated in your life. Think about what brings you joy and happiness, and make sure you focus on things you enjoy and love as much as possible, but also the hard things that you don't want to do. Just think about how accomplished you'll feel when you've got that thing done. Think about the end result, not just the immediate gratification you're seeking. People who seek immediate gratification tend to procrastinate more and not get things done because they want the instant gratification. So learn to be patient and learn to prolong your gratification feelings so that you're able to get stuff done so that you can feel gratification after you've done it. But give yourself that time, allow yourself to have that time. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have any way at all, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon for more videos in personal development for asexuals and lots of other topics we talk about. We talk about confidence on this channel, dating, relationships, self-love, self-care, all things asexual. So subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. I'll see you soon in the next video. Live stream, lots of love. Please thumbs up this video if you like it, and I'll see you soon. Take care, and also share in the comments below any ways you found that have helped you to be a lot more productive and self-motivated. Let's share in the comments below so we can help each other out in the community. Love to know what you have to say.